Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will learn about complex sentences in English grammar. I will explain it in a simple way. What is a complex sentence? A complex sentence has one main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. The main clause gives the main idea and can stand alone. The subordinate clause, dependent clause, cannot stand alone. It depends on the main clause to make sense. For example, I will call you when I reach home. Here, main clause, I will call you. Subordinate clause, when I reach home. What kinds of complex sentence? Subordinate clauses can be of three main types. 1. Adverbial clause. 2. Adjective clause. 3. Noun clause. Adverbial clause tells when, where, why, how, or under what condition something happens. Example. 1. She stayed home because she was sick. The main clause is the part that can stand alone and gives the main idea. Main clause, she stayed home. Meaning, the main action is that she stayed home. The subordinate clause, dependent clause, cannot stand alone and depends on the main clause to make sense. Subordinate clause, because she was sick. Meaning, this tells us the reason why she stayed home. This is an adverbial clause of reason because it explains why something happened. Clue words. Because, since, as, these often introduce reason clauses. An adverbial clause is a type of subordinate clause that works like an adverb. It gives extra information about the verb in the main sentence, telling us when something happens, where it happens, why it happens, how it happens, condition, if something happens. It always has a subject plus verb, and it starts with a subordinating conjunction like because, if, when, although, since, after, before, until, where, and so on. For example, if you understand the time must use when, one example is I will call you when I reach home. If you understand the reason must use why, one example is she stayed home because she was sick. If you understand the condition must use if, one example is if it rains, we will stay at home. If you understand the contrast must use although or though, one example is although he was tired, he finished his work. If you understand the place must use where, one example is I will go where you go. Adjective clause, it describes a noun in the main clause. Example. The boy who is wearing a red shirt is my brother. Main clause. The boy is my brother. This is a complete sentence by itself. Subordinate clause. Who is wearing a red shirt? This part gives extra information about the boy. This is an adjective clause relative clause because it describes the noun, boy. It begins with the relative pronoun who. 1 main clause, the boy is my brother. 1 subordinate clause, who is wearing a red shirt. Together they form a complex sentence. Adjective clause. An adjective clause, also called a relative clause, is a subordinate clause that works like an adjective. It describes a noun or pronoun in the main sentence. It usually begins with a relative pronoun such as who, whom, whose, which, that, or a relative adverb such as where, when, why. Number 1. When describing a person, use must who. For example, the boy who is wearing a red shirt is my brother. Clause equals who is wearing a red shirt describes the boy. Number 2. When describing a thing must use that. For example, this is the book that I like most. Clause equals that I like most describes the book. Number 3. When describing a place must use where. For example, I visited the park where we used to play. Clause equals where we used to play describes the park. What is noun clause? It works as a subject, object, or complement in the sentence. Example. I know that she is right. Identify the main clause. Main clause. I know. This is a complete idea. Identify the subordinate clause. Subordinate clause. Noun clause. That she is right. This part works as the object of the verb know. Type of clause. This is a noun clause because it acts like a noun in the sentence. It answers the question, what do I know? I know that she is right. Step 4. Why is it a complex sentence? Because it has 1 main clause, I know, 1 subordinate clause, noun clause, that she is right. Together, they make a complex sentence. A noun clause is a type of subordinate clause that works like a noun in a sentence. That means it can be used as subject, object, complement. It usually begins with words like that, what, who, whom, whose, which, where, when, why, how, whether, if. Thanks for watching. Today's class is very important. Next class will be another topic. See you next.